You buy your dream home with a sparkling pool, but your nosy HOA decides to lock you out over some petty rule. So what do? You invite a rowdy biker club to turn it into their personal party paradise. Chaos ensues and the HOA loses their collective minds. Stick around for this epic tale of revenge that's got drama, rebellion, and sweet, sweet justice. Hey everyone, if you're into wild HOA nightmares entitled Karen's Melting Down and property wars that end in total victory, smash that like button right now, subscribe for more insane stories, and hit the bell so you never miss an upload. Let's dive into this one. It's a doozy. The sun beat down on the quiet suburb of Willow Creek where manicured lawns and identical mailboxes lined the streets like soldiers in formation. In the heart of it all stood a modest two-story house owned by Alex Thompson, a hard-working mechanic who'd scraped together every penny to afford this slice of the American dream. The crown jewel? A backyard pool, crystal clear and inviting, complete with a deck and lounge chairs that promised lazy afternoons and summer barbecues. But tranquility was never in the cards, not with the Willow Creek Homeowners Association breathing down everyone's necks. The HOA board, a self-appointed cabal of busybodies led by the iron-fisted Karen Whitaker, enforced rules with the zeal of medieval inquisitors. No pink flamingos, no visible trash cans, and heaven forbid your grass grew a millimeter too long. Alex had moved in 6 months ago, eager to settle into a peaceful life after years in a cramped apartment. The pool was his sanctuary, a place to unwind after long shifts at the garage, fixing bikes and cars for the local crowd. Little did he know, the HOA had eyes everywhere. It started small, a notice about his mailbox needing a fresh coat of paint. Then came the fine for leaving his garage door open too long. Alex grumbled but complied, not wanting trouble. But the real storm brewed when Karen spotted something during one of her infamous neighborhood patrols. Alex had installed a small fountain in the pool to circulate the water better, a harmless addition that added a soothing trickle. According to the HOA bylaws buried in a 200-page document no one ever read fully, any modifications to communal aesthetic features required board approval. The pool, though private, fell under their purview because it was visible from the street if you craned your neck just right. Karen, with her clipboard and perpetual scowl, slapped a violation notice on his door. "Remove immediately or face fines," it read. Alex tried reasoning at the next HOA meeting, a monthly gathering in the community center that felt more like a kangaroo court. He explained the fountain's practicality, but Karen shut him down, her voice dripping with condescension. "Rules are rules, Mr. Thompson. We maintain standards here." The board voted unanimously to enforce the removal. Alex took it out, seething but silent. Weeks passed, and he thought the matter closed. Then came the lockout. One sweltering afternoon, Alex returned home to find a chain and padlock on his backyard gate, the one leading to the pool. A note from the HOA explained, "Due to repeated violations and non-compliance, access to the pool area is restricted until further notice. Fines accruing daily. Repeated violations?" Alex racked his brain. The fountain was gone, and he'd paid the earlier fines. Digging through emails, he found a buried clause. Failure to submit a formal apology letter for the infraction. It was absurd, a power play pure and simple. Karen had twisted the rules to make an example of him, perhaps because his grease-stained work clothes didn't fit her vision of upscale suburbia. Alex pounded on her door that evening, but she peered through the curtains and refused to answer. Calls to the board went to voicemail. He was locked out of his own property, the pool shimmering mockingly just beyond the fence. As days turned to weeks, the pool sat unused, algae beginning to form on the edges from neglect. Alex's frustration boiled over. He couldn't afford a lawyer, not yet anyway, and the HOA's grip seemed ironclad. But then inspiration struck in the most unlikely place, his garage. Alex worked on motorcycles for a local biker club called the Iron Wolves, a group of rough-around-the-edges riders who valued loyalty and freedom above all. Their leader, Big Mike, a towering figure with tattoos snaking up his arms, was a regular customer. Over beers one night after fixing a Harley, Alex vented about the HOA tyranny. Big Mike chuckled, his deep voice rumbling. The club was always looking for spots to host their gatherings, barbecues, bike shows, and the occasional rowdy party. "Why not use your pool, man? It's just sitting there." Alex paused, the idea igniting like a spark on dry tinder. It was risky, But the thought of Karen's face when she saw leather-clad bikers lounging in her pristine neighborhood, priceless. He agreed on one condition. Keep it respectful, no damage. Big Mike slapped him on the back. Deal. We'll make it legendary. The first party was set for the weekend. Alex provided the key to bypass the lock. After all, it was his property. As Saturday dawned, the rumble of engines echoed through Willow Creek. Dozens of bikes pulled up, riders in vests and bandanas unloading coolers and grills. Music thumped from portable speakers. Laughter filling the air as they dove into the pool, splashing and cannonballing with abandon. Alex watched from his window, a grin spreading across his face. By evening, the party was in full swing, the scent of barbecue wafting over fences. Neighbors peeked out, whispers spreading like wildfire. Karen, ever vigilant, noticed immediately. Her pristine white SUV screeched to a halt outside Alex's house. She marched up, phone in hand, ready to document the infraction. But as she approached the gate, now unlocked and swung wide, the sight stopped her cold. Burly bikers lounging on deck chairs, beers in hand, while others played volleyball in the water. What is the meaning of this? She demanded, though her voice wavered. Big Mike ambled over, towering over her. Private party, ma'am. Owner's permission. Karen sputtered, citing HOA rules against nuisances and unapproved gatherings. But Alex stepped out, calm as could be. My pool, my rules. You locked me out, remember? Consider this my way of maintaining it. She stormed off, vowing action. That night, emergency emails flooded inboxes. Unauthorized assembly. Noise violations. Call the police. But the cops, when they arrived, found no laws broken. Just a backyard bash on private property. They left with shrugs, one even grabbing a burger on the way out. As the party wound down, Alex felt a surge of empowerment. The pool was alive again, and the HOA's control cracked just a bit. But this was only the beginning. The bikers promised to return, and Karen's retaliation loomed like a gathering storm. The neighborhood buzzed with gossip, lines drawn between those secretly cheering Alex on and the loyalists rallying behind the board. Little did anyone know the parties would escalate, turning Willow Creek into a battleground of wills. The morning after the first biker party, Willow Creek awoke to a symphony of complaints. Karen Whitaker, fueled by indignation, had spent the night drafting a manifesto of violations, excessive noise, potential property damage, and a vague threat to community standards. By dawn, she'd rallied the HOA board for an emergency meeting at the community center, a bland building with fluorescent lights and folding chairs that amplified every dramatic sigh. The members, mostly retirees with too much time on their hands, nodded gravely as Karen presented photos snapped from her phone. Bikes parked on the street, laughter spilling over fences, and worst of all, tattooed arms draped over lounge chairs by the pool. This is an invasion, she declared, her voice echoing off the walls. If we let one resident flout the rules, chaos will reign. The board agreed to escalate. More fines for Alex, a lien threat on his property, and a push for stricter enforcement. They even discussed revoking his pool privileges permanently, citing some obscure bylaw about moral turpitude. Meanwhile, Alex surveyed his backyard with satisfaction. The bikers had cleaned up impeccably. No trash, no damage, just the pool sparkling cleaner than before from all the activity. Big Mike texted him, "Round 2 next weekend?" The boys loved it. Alex hesitated only a moment before replying yes. Word spread fast. Neighbors divided into camps. Some, like elderly Mrs. Jenkins next door, secretly delighted in the disruption to Karen's reign of terror. She'd been fined once for her cat wandering off-leash. Others, HOA loyalists, bombarded Alex with anonymous notes. Respect the community or leave. But Alex stood firm, his mechanic's hands calloused from years of hard work, now clenched in defiance. As the week progressed, Karen upped the ante. She installed surveillance cameras on street poles, questionably legal, but who would challenge her? She patrolled more frequently, her SUV crawling by Alex's house like a shark circling prey. One afternoon, she confronted him in his driveway as he washed his truck. "You think this is funny? Bringing thugs into our neighborhood?" Alex wiped his hands on a rag, meeting her glare. "Thugs? They're my friends, and they're welcome anytime." She huffed away, but not before slipping another violation notice under his door. Unauthorized access to restricted area. The irony burned. Restricted by whom? The second party arrived with even more fanfare. The Iron Wolves rolled in deeper numbers, their Harleys gleaming under the sun. This time they brought inflatables, giant floats shaped like dragons and unicorns bobbing absurdly in the pool. Music pulsed, but at a reasonable volume. Big Mike's orders to avoid giving the cops real cause. Laughter echoed as riders shared stories of the road, their camaraderie a stark contrast to the suburbs' stifled politeness. Alex joined in, floating on a raft, the water cool against his skin. For the first time in months, he felt truly at home. Karen watched from afar, her binoculars trained on the scene. She called the police thrice that day, each time met with the same response: no crime in progress. Frustrated, she turned to social media, posting in the neighborhood Facebook group, "Alert! Gang activity at 142 Oak Lane, demand action." Comments poured in, some supportive, others calling her out for exaggeration. "They're just having fun," one anonymous poster wrote. "Unlike your endless rules." The party stretched into the night, bonfires crackling, safely contained, of course, stars twinkling above. As the bikers departed, leaving high fives and promises of return, Alex noticed subtle changes. Neighbors waving tentatively, a few even peeking over fences with smiles. But Karen wasn't done. The next day, a tow truck arrived, summoned by the HOA to remove illegally parked vehicles, except the bikes were gone. It was a bluff, but it signaled war. Fines piled up on Alex's doorstep, now totaling thousands. He ignored them, consulting a friend in law school who advised stalling until he could afford representation. Tensions simmered as the third party loomed. The bikers, sensing the drama, amped up their presence. Custom banners reading "Freedom Pool Party," grills sizzling with steaks, and even an impromptu bike show on the lawn. Karen mobilized her allies, picketing outside Alex's house with signs, "Restore order. No gangs here." The spectacle drew local news, a van pulling up, reporter interviewing both sides. Karen ranted about declining property values. Alex calmly explained the lockout injustice. The clip went viral on social media, hashtags like HOA Horror and Pool Revenge trending locally. Support flooded in for Alex. Donations to a GoFundMe for legal fees, messages from others sharing HOA nightmares. The bikers, reveling in the spotlight, invited more clubs. Allied groups from nearby towns, turning the gathering into a mini rally. Engines roared, but harmony prevailed, no fights, no mess. As dusk fell, Karen's breaking point neared. She stormed the gate, demanding entry to inspect. Big Mike blocked her path gently. "Private property, ma'am." She called the board, who arrived en masse, a comical parade of khaki-clad enforcers. Threats flew, eviction proceedings, lawsuits. But Alex produced documents. His deed, proving the pool was unequivocally his, the HOA's lockout overreach. The standoff ended with police escorting the board away for trespassing threats. That night, as the party wound down, Alex realized the tide had turned. The HOA's iron grip loosened, exposed as petty tyrants. Whispers of a recall election circulated, neighbors emboldened. But challenges remained. Karen vowed revenge, plotting in the shadows. The pool, once a symbol of confinement, now pulsed with life, a beacon of rebellion in the heart of suburbia. With the viral news clip circulating, Willow Creek transformed overnight from sleepy suburb to ground zero for HOA reform debates. Alex Thompson, once just a mechanic blending into the background, became an unwitting folk hero. His inbox overflowed with messages from across the country, tales of similar tyrannies, offers of legal aid, even invitations to speak at community meetings. The Iron Wolves, basking in the glow of positive press, made the pool parties a weekly staple, each one bigger and bolder. Big Mike coordinated with precision, ensuring permits for larger gatherings and even donating proceeds from a raffle to local charities, turning the gang narrative on its head. Neighbors who once shunned Alex now stopped by with casseroles, sharing their own grievances against Karen Whitaker's regime. Mrs. Jenkins baked cookies for the bikers, her cat purring at their feet. The HOA board, cornered by the spotlight, called a special assembly to address the crisis. Karen presided, her face a mask of forced composure, but cracks showed, trembling hands, darting eyes. She proposed new bylaws, bans on external groups, mandatory background checks for guests. But attendance swelled with dissenters, many inspired by Alex's stand. Voices rose in opposition, citing overreach and demanding transparency. Karen filibustered, but the vote stalled amid chaos. Outside, the latest party thumped on, music wafting into the meeting hall like a taunt. Alex didn't attend. He floated in his pool, surrounded by leather vests and laughter, the algae long banished by constant use. As weeks unfolded, the pressure mounted. A class action lawsuit brewed, spearheaded by Alex with pro bono lawyers drawn by the publicity. Evidence piled up. Forged minutes from past meetings, selective enforcement favoring board members' friends, parents' camera installations, deemed illegal surveillance ordered removed. Fines against Alex were frozen pending review. The parties evolved. Family-friendly afternoons with kids from the neighborhood splashing alongside bikers, teaching bike safety. Evenings brought storytelling circles, riders sharing road wisdom under string lights. The pool deck became a communal hub, fences metaphorically torn down. Karen, isolated, resorted to desperation. Anonymous tips to authorities about drug activity, baseless, petitions to rezone the area. But investigations cleared the bikers, their club legit and community-oriented. One fateful board meeting sealed her fate. As Karen ranted about moral decay, a whistleblower, a former member, revealed embezzlement. HOA funds siphoned for personal luxuries like Karen's spa days. Gasps filled the room. Resignations followed, the board crumbling. Karen fled amid boos, her SUV speeding away for the last time. In the aftermath, Alex led the interim committee, rewriting bylaws for fairness. No more petty fines, community input mandatory. The pool lockout? Declared unlawful, with compensation awarded. The final party was a triumph. Hundreds attended, not just bikers, but neighbors, reporters, even reformed HOA holdouts. Fireworks lit the sky, toasts raised to freedom. Alex stood by the water's edge, reflecting on the journey, from locked-out victim to liberator. Willow Creek healed, its lawn still manicured but its spirit unchained. The pool, once a battleground, now symbolized unity, ripples carrying echoes of rebellion. As summer faded, the gatherings continued, a testament to standing tall against overreach. And in the quiet moments, Alex knew, sometimes, the best revenge is living freely, one splash at a time. If this HOA revenge saga had you hooked from start to finish, do me a favor, drop a like if it made you cheer for the underdog. Subscribe for more wild property drama stories dropping every week, and turn on those notifications so you're first in line for the next one. Thanks for watching, and remember, never let the Karens win.